Hey everybody, Bill in Virginia. Welcome back. So this time I'm going to get started with painting the still. I went to Hobby Lobby yesterday and picked up a variety of different colors so that I can do some like copper paint, some browns for the barrel, some off-whites I can do for like the blocks that the still is sitting on, so I can get this one looking pretty good and then kind of set on the layout. You'll also notice I've got more trees in the works. So while at Hobby Lobby yesterday, I picked up another 4 rolls of the grapevine wire, like $5 a roll, and Hobby Lobby had their 50% off on floral supplies, which this comes from the floral department. So basically $2.50 a roll, and I get, a fair number of trees. So this is 11 trunks for my pine trees out of 1 roll. And at the cost, so basically $2.50 for the basic pieces of the trunk, the Woodland Scenics turf, and the glue. Seriously, it's pennies per trunk. The filter material is not expensive when you look at the number of trees I can get out of 1 piece of the uncut filter material. I can do 50, 60 trees easily. So a good deal. Very cost effective to make your own trees. So again, I'm an advocate of that. But I'm going to get the paints out and just kind of show you what I'm planning on doing, and then a few shots as I'm painting this up. But the detail is good on that still. It should look pretty cool once I get done with it, and definitely fit into the backwoods. Well, about 30 minutes later, been playing with the paint a little bit. I've got the copper toned down to a more copper look than what the casting material was on this 3D printed item. Barrel is painted, used a toothpick to paint the bands on the drum. That's how I was doing windows on the N scale layout. Did pretty good. The cinder blocks painted up. So I will let the paint dry thoroughly here, and then I'll come back in with some chalks, kind of chalk things up, tone down a little bit, highlight a few areas, and we'll see how it looks. But this is almost ready to go on the layout. I won't glue it in place yet until I get more of the scenery done, but I can turn my attention to making the trees, and then next segment should show this in place, and I will be making trees. So let's see what else we can get done here today. So with a little bit of chalk work done, my still is ready to go into the woods. I found a little bit of black chalk, highlights the coil, a little bit of rust and some other things, and dirt, kind of make it look like it's been out there for a little while, some shades of green. But you know what? That is a really cool little 3D printed model. I'm real happy that I got that. So anyway, the still is going to go into its place, and then I can start to do a little bit of scenery work in and around that area as I take my next batch of trees through production here. So from the vantage point where I'm standing, I can see that little still in there pretty good. Yeah, I can bring it in. Yeah, and I do have some people that I bought from Caboose Stop Hobbies that I will be getting at some point here in the fairly near future. And I will be able to have some folks around that. And I'm probably going to have some revenuers kind of in the area looking at the still as well. But it should be fun. Anyway, I'm going to do a little bit more scenery work. I've got more rock. I'll put just kind of along here. I am going to decorate up like a hydrocal crate that I've got put that in there. I've got some leftover material yet from the wood pile, so I can make a little pile of wood that the folks are using down there as they brew up their mash. So anyway, more to come. Well, Friday evening comes to a close, and I have the main application of ground materials on the trunks of those new 11 trees. I have the heat shrink tubing and toothpicks ready to go to put on the tops of those. Tomorrow, after the glue dries thoroughly, I will add those. I'm also creating 3 small trunks for deciduous trees. I kind of think these are going to go, or at least a couple of them are going to go up near where the still is. I know the spot where I want to put them. So these will get similar treatment. Once the glue dries, I will coat them with glue and put some ground cover on them to kind of beef up the trunks, leaving the tops in this area free so I can do the shrink tubing around that, but I will put super tree material on there just to kind of give me a couple of splits coming up, make it look like just smaller trees kind of in that opening where the still is at. So that's it for this evening. Tomorrow should make more progress. Well, mid-Saturday afternoon, and as I wait for my tree trunks to dry thoroughly, want to let that wood glue set, hold the Woodland Scenics ground cover in place, I'm out in the garage, and I have space again. Today on the Back on Track morning show, I noted that I'd finally found somebody that would take the shaper that I had. I had it listed on Craigslist for $50. You know what? I gave it to the guy. He was the only one that expressed interest in it. Absolutely nothing wrong with the shaper. It was a really good one from probably the 1950s or 60s. A lot of life left in it yet. Solid. So he was kind of wondering whether or not it would work for him. And I said, you know what? If you want it, come and get it. It's yours free, including the mobile base that I had under it and some oak wood that's on it, because it's sat for me for years. I've got a Shopsmith Mark V. I've got bells and whistles that go with it. So if I want to do stuff, I've got the equipment to do it. But now I have 2 extra feet. I've still got to clean up a little bit of stuff here. But the O-scale layout can now slide all the way over to be even with that part. That gets me 2 extra feet. So with that 2 extra feet, I could move the HO scale layout over. I can move the N scale away from under the cabinets. It'll still be kind of tight, but I should be able to have all 3 layouts where I can get in and around them and utilize my little workspace that I've got kind of hidden under the layout over there. So I get this a little bit more cleaned up. I'm going to be moving some layouts around today just to see how much space I've got. In the meantime, I will be making some more trees. So letting the glue dry on the trunks of those. These were the little pieces that I showed in the video. Got the heat shrink on it, woodland or the super tree material. Once the glue dries, paint those, put the foliage on, and we're good to go there. Over here, I've got the 11 trunks completed. I just need to let the glue dry up on the tips. I put the toothpicks and the heat shrink on that earlier today and then rolled it in ground material after I painted glue on it. Let that cure good, but potentially by later this evening, I can be making the trees, which I think will take care of everything that I need over by the still. We'll see, but we'll know here pretty quick. Later Saturday afternoon, I have the 3 deciduous trees done that I was working on. So rustic wire for the trunk kind of comes up. You can kind of see the transition where the wire goes into the toothpick and the heat shrink, but you really got to look at it. So all 3 of these just have sort of a V crotch that splits. I'm going to put them over to the right of the still in that area, and we'll see how these look here in a minute. I have those 3 trees in. That will take care of the trees in and around the still. Other areas like right in here, maybe some super tree bushes as I get this area finished up. Just some ground cover in and around here. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. You know, the lighting in my garage is not that hot, so different lighting from different angles, you will be able to see the still better, as well as the people and other things that will populate that once I get to that point. So, yeah, making some progress. I think I'm going to turn my attention now to those other 11 trees. Those have cured enough. I can start to build them, so I'll cut up some furnace filter material and get started on that next. Saturday evening draws to a close, and I'm wrapping it up for the day. So another 9 trees, ready for the next step. 2 more down there that I will make, but I'll do that tomorrow. And then do some paint, add some ground materials, do some trim, add the static grass, and plant. I should easily have all of those trees added to that space over by the moonshine still by this time tomorrow. So let's see what we can get done and see if we can wrap up Module 1 on that far side, except for a lot of super detailing and a lot of other stuff, but at least the basics will be done on that particular piece. And then we'll go from there. Getting close to putting these on the layout. I've got the ground cover on. I'll let the hairspray dry, and then give them the haircut, and then add the static grass, and I'll be planting trees. Well, I have those 11 trees added now, and that's it. I don't think I'm going to need any more big pine trees on this side of the layout. I probably will add a few little pieces of super tree material here and there. I may make some more of the small pine trees to go in a few areas, but that'll come later. Still have ground cover work to do under some of these trees. I did add ground cover on that little plateau kind of feature as I went. These I can get access on both sides, so I figured I'd do the ground cover a little bit later. Let me squeeze in between the garage door and this end of the layout. Kind of see how that looks from this side. Again, need to do more ground cover work here in the foreground. Background, you can see the still. On the video, you can't really see it. Standing here, I can see it just fine. You know, it's in the back there. Looks pretty nice in that little area. Once I get some people in there, it'll look better. One thing I do need to do in the garage in the fairly near future, and I can now that I have some space, is 1, 2. That's all the lights I have out in the garage. I want to add in more so that I've got like at least 6 to kind of give me more even light throughout the garage, which will help on all of the layouts for visibility. That will come. But first, I'm going to finish up the ground cover in and around this area and call Module 1 complete for basic scenery. Still more to do. Super trees, super detailing people, some more animals, more fun little things, including putting an outhouse near the cabin. You know, just lots of little stuff on this. So, you know, once I get the ground cover done on here, I'll probably just sit back this afternoon, run some trains, think about what I'm going to do over on the next module. But that'll come a little bit later. I think next thing I'm going to do is I will move this layout into my newly opened up space so I can get access to the HO and N scale and move those around. I know I said that earlier in this video, but I think this afternoon, a little bit later, I'm going to start doing that. Do a little bit of cleaning, picking up some stuff in here to make more space. But we are making progress. So between the trees that I have here and then the trees over here and then on the other side of the scenic divide, well over 300 scratch-built trees at this point. So we'll see. You know, I'm thinking that when I start to do the other piece of the layout, and once I get to the point where I've got the hard shell scenery down but haven't put any trees on, I think I'm going to have a contest. And to see who can guess what I'm going to end up with for trees. Might be just the new trees that I add to the module, or maybe the overall tree count on the layout here. But that'll be coming later. Probably in a few weeks is when I'll get started on that one. But all right, let's see what else I can get into here. I'll have the garage door open just to get a little bit more light in here. So you can kind of see how this edge of the layout is looking. I've still got to do a little bit more work on the ground cover. I still don't have isopropyl alcohol. I forgot to get it. Once I get that, I will spritz it in there and make that look quite a bit better than what it is. It's now just sort of a poof of different textures. But the isopropyl alcohol will settle things, and we'll be able to add some different colors and some other stuff in there. So that'll come. Over this way, yeah, you can see the still in the background now. So it depends upon the lighting on what you'll see, but the forest definitely looks dark. So just kind of bringing it out of the garage a little bit. See the On30 side of the On30. Got the HO scale sitting next to it, and next to the HO scale is the N scale. And it just goes to show that you know, if you've got some garage space, even if it was only a single stall garage, I'd still be able to have had the HO scale in it, maybe the N scale. You don't need a big layout to have fun. Empires in the basement or attic or garage are fantastic, but you know what? Empires can be small and still give you as much operating and running pleasure as a big layout. So anyway, I'm going to end on that note for this video. Keep having fun on your layouts. Until next time.